Laura and Megan, I have already decided this is going to be the best part of my day. Thank you so much for being you, first of all, for doing all the amazing things that you're doing, for doing it together, which is such a beautiful permission slip to all of us who think we have to do it on our own. And thank you for being here.
Oh, God, thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Yes. It's so fun. So typically, I am interviewing one person at a time. So this is going to be really fun. And I just want you to know you can pop right in whenever you've got something on your heart because I want to hear it and I want to know it. But we'll start off with having you each answer. How are you saying yes to yourself in this season? And Megan, we'll start with you.
Okay. I am freshly divorced. I have moved into a new home. This is my second divorce. I
Congratulations! Oh my
think,
gosh, me too.
yeah, it's new chapter amplified right now.
Right?
And I think I'm saying yes to myself in a lot of ways that have been really brave. It's part of my soul school to do that, but just even my house, I have a 16-year-old son and he calls it girl house because I'm like, I want velvet, I want pink, I want comfortable couches and beds. Like we are not doing this like, I guess it'll work kind of shit anymore. I'm also saying no to certain things, which is inherently a yes. So there's like this, I'm just really trying. I just turned 46 like a week ago, and I'm trying to really honor myself more than I was taught to, more than I had modeled by a lot of my lineage. And it sounds really great in the personal growth space, say yes to yourself, but it actually takes a ton of nervous system regulation, a ton of courage, a ton of like leaping into the God hammock with full faith. And so that I'm just committed to that as my way of life moving forward, even when it's really hard. And I'm celebrating all the big and small bits of magic that are coming from it.
See, I told you. We could just be done right now or go for 7 days straight. I love everything. I love everything about that. And as you were speaking, it's my story too. And as you were speaking it, though, I was hearing it reflected back to me because it is just what we know to do with the information and the tools that we now have at this age and stage and season in our lives. But to hear somebody else say it, it's like, damn, I am killing it. That's amazing. And there's so much intention into these decisions. And I was a wedding planner for 30 years. And a part of that was retelling myself the love story that I desired in my own marriage that wasn't happening. I got to play wedding every week, practically. So the intention and the planning that goes into that pivotal milestone day to usher in a new chapter of our lives. I love that we're doing that in the divorce space as well. We're planning for months and months and months. We're spending a ton of money creating the feeling and environment we want on, that quote unquote day, but now it's in our homes. And oh, it's 10:10. And I love this. So thank you for the gift of your yes and using your words because it was really helpful for me too.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think. So for my birthday, I got a couple sweet little tattoos, and it's
Fun.
just a tiny little word, and it says beloved, and it faces me to remind me that
Oh.
I'm my own beloved. And how would I treat myself, and what would I choose if I loved myself in this really sweet, gentle, deep way? So I think that's what I'm hearing in what you say is like the reclamation of our ability to love ourselves.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And it isn't It really, like, I'm not saying it's no offense to anybody else. It just has nothing to do with
Yeah.
anybody else. So it's like I'm not even trying to not offend you or offend you. It's like I literally could not care any less about anybody else's opinion. And in doing so, that has not ostracized me. I've magnetized true community with, like, I've known you ladies for 11 minutes. We're so in. Like, you're never getting rid of me. Like, this is what happens when I say everybody wins when we say yes to ourselves. This is what I am talking about. There is a whole universe that is just waiting on the other side of us allowing what is next to come to us rather than chasing or searching or comparing or waiting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So
it's
true.
yummy. It's
Yeah.
yummy. Okay, Laura, how are you saying yes
Oh
to
my
your?
gosh. I mean, you guys have kind of like really covered a lot of it, but I'm actually getting ready to turn 49, and I'm at a place in my life where my youngest kiddo just turned 18. And so
Mm,
there's this sacred time when you're a mom or a parent in any kind of way, when the youngest one, however many you have, if that's one or however many, when the youngest one turns 18, there's like an ending of a sacred contract, right? Like
mm,
you've been this role, you've had this job, this role, and so it actually creates a little bit of swirl around you. Like, okay, if you're not that, if you're not identified as that anymore, if that's not your role, you've been fired from that job. Not that they ever hired me, but if you've been fired from that job, like, and so one of the ways in this time that I am really living into my yes is that I have this huge space of freedom to listen in the present moment to what I really want and what I don't want.
mm.
Like, and so where I think we spend a lot of times as parents doing a lot of things that are a bit of a compromise, right? Like they're just a little bit like on the I really don't want to, but it is actually my job. And so even though even though I and so I think for the first time in really my adult life, I am completely free to say yes, literally to what I mean yes, and for the first time, full nose to what I don't want to do. And and so that's a big present moment for me, right? It's a big unveiling of some truth that's been like, whoa, I'm saying yes to a lot of things. I mean, no, like, so really my yes right now is based on my no. And so
Mm,
it goes back to that old saying of like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And that's kind of where I'm living right now. It's like, and maybe it's my age, and we're starting to refer to perimenopause and menopause as cougarty. Like
love
it's our
it.
cougar puberty. And so I'm saying, like
Love
I'm
it.
also saying things like, I actually don't care. Like, I mean, I'm trying to be kind where I need to be kind, but I
I
actually,
am kind.
yeah, I am
But I'm
kind.
also including me in the equation of kindness.
Yes. I'm trying in the South, here in the South, there's a lot of niceness with no kindness, right? A
Mm,
lot of just mouth speaking shit,
hmm.
whatever,
Yeah.
like, and I'm trying to really just live from a place of like, it's actually kind for me to say no when I mean it. And and it's the best thing for everybody. So that's kind
Yes.
of where I am with my yes right now.
I love that so much. And I love the giant permission slip that is to all the women that are in your community, but even the women that are in your, like, physical community. If there is this decision, this groundswell of, we're going to not just be polite or have this backhanded Southern hospitality that is really mean. Like, I know when they say bless your heart, that means not nice. That is not nice.
Yeah, it's a way
Yeah.
to wrap up with some. They're going to say something really mean afterwards, but they're going to
Right.
bless your heart first and then
Right.
call
Because you're
you
going to
a
need
one.
it. You're going to need it because something's coming and it's
Yeah.
not what your heart wants to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I have so many questions, but I'm really interested in knowing, how did you both prepare for this season that you're in? Because these are oftentimes things that a woman might say happened to her. Well, my kids left and now I'm like, I don't know what to do and I'm by myself and I got to figure out who I am or whatever. And I miss them so much and I need them to need me. And so now I need grandchildren or whatever, like, because that happened to them. And that can also feel like that in a divorce situation where, I supported him and then he went off and left and he took all the money, whatever, these awful stories that don't even feel good in my body repeating. But it can feel like that's happening to us. And it's very, very clear that for both of you and for me, this is happening for us. And it took preparation, it took work, it takes tools to have that mindset shift, but then also to take really inspired action and be a beacon for those around us. So, how has that looked for you?
Megan, you want to
Messy.
go first?
I mean, messy and magical is the best way I can put it. I think the preparation is easiest for me to see in hindsight. It
Totally.
it wasn't like this cute, clean path of getting ready and then being fully ready and then leaping on time and sticking the landing. It had none of that. Like my I think preparation is I've had a lifelong journey of being a seeker, and I was a therapist and I learned to regulate my nervous system. I learned to listen to my body. I got better and better at those things over the last 2 decades so that at this season of my life, when, I was separated, navigating a natural disaster here in Asheville, didn't know how I was going to have money, none of that, all that stuff that I had become up until that point was the preparation that allowed me to really hear myself and go, I am held by guides, spirits, ancestors, all of the things I don't actually have to know. I just know that this is a full body no, and I have to move in a different direction. And I was caught over and over again, whether it was um, family friends who said, come stay with us. You can be in our basement apartment as long as you need. Or this house
Mhm.
that I'm living in was where I went in my first separation from my first husband, friends who no longer even own it. They moved to Europe. I know this house and I landed
Oh.
in this place that held me. Like the magic around alignment is mind blowing. So it's like I did my part in the co
Mhm.
creative story of courage. Um,
Totally.
and then I let life help me, which that's been a big part of my journey is moving from the I need to figure everything out, I need to do everything, I need to be the one to being like, life, I need you. I I need help. Help me. I'm going to trust that I'm going to be caught if I leap. And that took a lot of preparation. I mean, I've been a spiritual adventurer for decades, and I think it's a cool theory. But when you're asked to actually trust, when you're asked to actually surrender, it's different. And, practically we need nervous system tools and we need I think we need a sense of spiritual connection. I couldn't be
Oh,
brave if I didn't have a connection to something bigger than me.
absolutely.
My humanity
I-
is just too small to handle it.
Right? I actually do so much better when the situation is ridiculously bigger than me. Like, oh, the tax bill is $75,000. Awesome. Like, that's so
Cute.
great
That's cute.
because clearly I will not be creating that out of my pocket. Like,
Yeah.
that is, I mean, that hasn't happened. I was just thinking of something, but I love when it's big. I love when the architect is drawing beautiful plans for the restoration of my barn and he was like, well, what is the budget? I'm like, oh, that word is so awful. Can we just dream? Like, did you just turn into the general contractor? I thought you were the architect. Like, let's architect this thing. Like, let's just make it. So then he made it super, super dreamy. And I love that he did that. And I showed it to a friend. Well, a friend was looking over my shoulder when I was looking at it. And their first question was, well, how are you going to do that? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. The how is not my responsibility. And this is not the setting for any questions that start with the word how, except for how are you going to celebrate how the universe surprises and delights you in the manifestation of this legit barn. Like that's the how I can answer. So I love that you have been able to recognize along the way these tools that have come in handy for you. I remember so often in the navigation of my divorce process took 3 years. So yeah. It's been a good time. And it's recently final, and it just feels like freedom. Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's like wearing a dress that you don't really like every single day for 3 years when you've already decided you're done with that dress. But all to say, I found myself so often, sometimes hourly, sometimes every 15 minutes. How may I be of service? How would you have me use these 15 minutes? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom would you have me say it? It's just this constant connection and reaching out for the universe to show up in such a big, beautiful way.
Yeah, for sure.
How have you prepared yourself, Laura, for this time and this season?
Oh, maybe not at all.
And
So
maybe for 49 years you've been
yeah,
preparing?
49 years.
Yeah,
Megan and
exactly.
I have a joke that spiritually I like to back myself into situations. And then once I'm there, I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening right now? Like just kind of having to get there and look around. And so,
Yeah.
but I do think the preparation, like Megan said, it's years of having sought something or this deep inner knowing that there's something so much bigger than me, right? Like, and that I'm here for something so much bigger than a checklist, and that and this deep sense of wanting to really help and contribute, like, and this, and that's kind of where the book came from, is this, like, we just wanted to serve. Like, there's this deep sense of really wanting to serve. And so I think our preparation came with lots of challenges. I've had a challenging life, if that's the story I want to stick with, like, and I do think that we have to be willing to not avoid, and I might be a little bit programmed to avoid sometimes. So my preparation has been learning to not avoid, not to just be like, oh, I don't even want to look at my history. I just want to look over here where all the things are pretty. Megan calls it my window. Like,
She's
I'm
got a beautiful window.
yeah, I've got
Always a
yeah, like, this is a dumpster fire, but over
Right.
here I've got this beautiful window. It looks out on the ocean, like I
Awesome.
can see the dolphins and the mermaids. And
Perfect.
so my preparation has really been willing to, like, get present to what
Mhm.
is. Like, those things are actually causing nervous system dysregulation, and it's causing me from going where I want to go. And so I had to get present. I had to look. My work was really to look and not to blame and not to stay in anger or shame, but to be willing to do the hard work of looking of how I'm showing up, how my parts are showing it, the parts of me that are reacting to all the things, or um and also just who do I want to be, if by looking at what might be holding us back, we're actually freeing ourselves to create what we want. And so
Right.
I think that that's part of how I've been preparing, most of
Mm.
the time on accident, but still, like, wherever we are, we are. That's, Megan is a classic, like, all the time meaning making. It's one of the things I learned from her pretty early
Mm.
on, is that everything has got a meaning. And so, and just really starting to get present to that, really, like, really present, really in the now.
And I think there's so much to that, and how your work together is so beautifully intertwined, because we can know that. We can know that avoidant princess is not the archetype we want to claim. And in our queendom,
Right.
we need to look at the dumpster fire. For me, it was the accounting and QuickBooks and the spreadsheets and all of the financial forms I had to do for the divorce lawyer. My podcast listeners know I refer to them as the forms, and it took me 18 months to fill out the forms the first time. And I was working with a coach, and she was like, okay, Wendy, you are not a ladybug on her back about this, and you are acting like a ladybug on her back. Like, get the paper, do the damn form, and let's just be done with it. So I was ridiculous creating all of these. Let me have some tea. Oh, you know what? Let me make an infusion, which requires me to go outside and harvest some mint and all sorts of like whatever was going to take longer. That's what I was doing. Then I I lit a candle, I set a timer. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this in 90-minute sections, and I'm just doing it till it's done. No freaking joke. It took me 18 minutes to do the whole thing. I was like, actual, I do it. Like, I'm wasting my life. Like, what else? And then I'm like, when something like that happened, like, we got to get a flashlight in that shadowy place. Like, what else are we excavating now? It's like, oh my gosh, what else am I avoiding? And I had like the most productive, badass weekend of my life because I thought it was going to be sucked into this awful thing. And now QuickBooks is my boyfriend, and I love hanging out with him, and he tells me all the good things, and I actually have information to tell him because he doesn't know everything. It's just so good that there's this Bible verse that says like the weak will become strong. And it's like our weakest point can become our strongest point when we stop handing all of our power over to something that is not even powerful.
Yep.
I mean, do we just snap for that?
Snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That.
Right.
CrossFit for the soul, right? The challenges
Yes.
that build something really strong within us.
Yes. So I want to talk about the book, and I love everything. I love that you're doing this together, and I love that the foundation of it has to do with human design and how knowing ourselves explains why we're avoidant about the other things and why we excel in these other areas, and how we can also, like you've been referring to, Meghan, regulate our nervous system. We were not taught any of these things. We were taught to be compliant and just do what I say and don't ask questions and be small and be pleasing and all the things. And we are rewriting our own stories, but all of the words are already there because of these imprints of how we are designed. So can you say more about how that is intertwined with your work?
Yeah. I mean, I think as women, especially, it sounds like you focus a lot on women, and that's a lot of the community here. Um, Self-abandonment is normalized. And it's so normalized that when we're asked in those phases of life before we know ourselves, what do you want? We actually don't know. I've coached so many women over the years and say, what would feel good? What do you want? And there's a blankness that comes over. And I think self-abandonment is dysregulating. Our body knows we're not safe, even if our mind is telling us this is the path to safety. And human design offers a reflection of like, what about this? What about this? And we were having a conversation earlier with someone, and I said, I wanted to trade my human design type for the first 3 years I knew about it. It was reflecting me, but it wasn't the me that I had taught to value and that would be successful in the world we live in. So that's just one example of what I didn't want to take from my human design. So I think there's really affirming, because it felt like truth, but it felt like really inconvenient truth, which is where the nervous system science comes in. Because to claim who I am and how I'm designed to move through this world that is not built around my design, I had to learn how to regulate my nervous system and stay
Are you a
instead of running
projector?
back. I am.
Yeah.
Conformity is what my nervous system learned. Productivity, achievement was what my nervous system learned, was what kept me safe. And I've
Mm.
had to just grieve and shed and breathe through being like, actually, no, actually, I'm not gonna, it's been really beautiful and really hard. So I just want everybody listening to know that's part of coming home to ourselves is the oh shit moments and the I wish I could trade and I wish I wasn't like this, but I totally know I am. It's an alchemy of pressure and liberation.
Oh gosh, that's yummy. Say that again, please.
It's an alchemy of pressure and liberation. And I've been saying the last 2 years of my life, well, last birthday, a year ago, I said it was my diamond era. All this pressure is going to make me shine. I was thinking I was done. Now I'm in my like whatever the high grade diamonds are. I've decided,
Right.
okay, like the pressure is making me shine, right? So,
Ah.
becoming more clear so that the light can move through. But I needed that pressure. I needed those sledgehammer moments. Like you said, you need certain pressures. Sometimes my human will is just real determined to stay the course, and I need life to give me the pressure to know myself deeper.
Oh my goodness. How about for you, Laura? And please just tell me all the things you want to say. You don't have to wait for me to ask a question. Like I'm here for it.
It was also just having a moment of really taking Meghan in. Sometimes I like that will happen to me. I'm just like listening and like, God, that's so true. I've watched, so I'm just going to talk about Meghan for a minute, but like the last
Please.
Meghan's life, it's like I've really watched her. So being a projector in human design means knowing that you're here to be someone to guide other people, right? Like this is part of your role. But it also means like literally having to recalibrate your nervous system to be willing to do less and trust more, right? Like, and I was just listening to Meghan and thinking about watching her through that journey of like really trusting it, like, and
What is your human design, Laura?
I'm a generator. The world was built for
Same.
me.
Mhm.
No,
And
we'll
do
talk
you
about
know
that.
your Enneagram?
I'm a 7. Couldn't you not tell by
Ooh.
the fire and the mermaids?
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm a
And
2,
oh yeah,
a helper,
of course.
right? So I've got unsolicited help in all the waking hours. And
Yes,
I'll have more ideas of what you could do since you didn't
yes,
ask me tomorrow, because when I sleep, I've got all the energy back for the whole new day.
yes, exactly. And I'm a Libra sun and a Libra rising. So
Oh.
um, so I also am someone who's like, I'm just here to please you. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Like, and
Mhm.
that's a lot of that yes and no that I was talking about. Like, this is a time in my life where like I'm tired of just creating harmony. I need to be more clear about what is a yes and what is a no, in all realms. So I think human design, though, one of the things that Meghan and I have talked about many, many times with human design is we resisted it at first. We resisted the whole system because it was so mental. It was so much of people. It felt like exclusive. It felt like you had to know everything to know anything. You had to like
Mhm.
it was and so we kind of would lean in and then we'd be like, we'd lean back out, we'd lean in, we'd lean out. But what happened was it kept coming back to us. It kept coming back as really powerful. It kept coming back as true, right? And like Meghan said, as much as sometimes we didn't want it to be true, it came back as true. And you know, it's an archetypal system for people that don't know what human design is. Archetypes are kind of like a collective belief system or a way that we can view something so that we can understand it at a higher perspective. And so human design itself is this layered archetypal system of many, many archetypes in one program. And what that leaves you with is this like thumbprint of who I'm here to be. This like it's no one else can be me, right? Because there's so many archetypes in there and there's so many details that and then the way it gets expressed, no one can be me, right? And so human design really offers us this deep living compass back to truth, back to that capital S self of like okay, well, what happens when I start being that? You know, that's really what it's not about knowing your human design. It's about being who you're here to be. And then what happens when you're being that, you know, like what do you start to heal? What do you start to attract? You know, all of those things. So I think human design is a really great starting place for that, for our audience in particular, which tends to come to us when they're stuck, right? That's why we wrote the book Unstuck Yourself. So it's like they're stuck. They're like, I think I've lost who I am in my life to the story of what I'm having to do and produce and be and show up for as everyone else. But I'm feeling this deep inner pull towards something that I know is in here, but I can't quite figure it out. Right. And that's how Megan and I really landed deeply in it. And it's been a beautiful guiding light. It can't be the only answer. You have to be willing to like you said, take that flashlight out and go look and be like, okay, why am I sabotaging right here? But human design offers us a map to the way that we're going to sabotage, the specific way. And then I can look right at it. I don't have to like unpack everybody else's way that they're sabotaging. This one is my way, you know, like, and so it's really efficient in that way. So I think I went down a rabbit hole of human design, y'all. I'm sorry.
I'm here for it. Anything you would like to add to that, Megan?
I mean, at the risk of sounding pluggy, but it feels relevant to what Laura said. I mean,
What
that's
we're here for.
we wanted to make human design digestible for regular people. And so one of the resources we have is an Unstuck Yourself guidebook. And it literally identifies the four, they're called gates in human design, but archetypal themes that both reflect your gifts you're here to shine and the challenges that are your soul school. Like when you live into those and move through it and heal or whatever the thing is, that's when you're going to become most magnetic, most abundant, most unstuck, all that. And we did, you know, we like to do shit fun. So it's like a Mad Lib that you write. It's not
fun.
a report where, and we've got audios. So we've got guided imagery. It's a whole thing, but it's like, it took us years to get to that point of understanding our human design. We had to learn the whole system and take courses and all the things to be like, oh, and this is what it actually means in human language. So we've got things like that. That's something we're passionate about. And, you know, there's a free resource too that's a great starting place for your people if they're like, human design curious.
Yes.
But we want people to be able to look where they need to look to efficiently heal what needs to be healed and come into wholeness and go be them in the world. Like we need it now. We need it. That's the activism undertone is like, the world needs us being us now more than ever and bringing our brilliance to these big problems. We need it. And conformity is not going to get us there.
Yeah.
For sure. It's what got us here.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what's the fastest, most efficient path to getting people back to self so that as a collective, we can heal?
Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. I love that when you say what's the most efficient path, we know that it's not one path for all people, but all people have the path and the destination is being fully expressed in ourselves. Like this reimagining, redefining, reinvention era that all the people I'm talking to are in, it's not as scary as it sounds because the blueprint is already there. We just didn't know about it or tap into it or think that was okay to be what's easy. Like, no, that's that's the breadcrumb. Like it's not supposed to be unbelievably hard, and you're not supposed to do it the way I'm doing it. You're supposed to be doing it, well, not supposed to be, but you're lovingly invited to do it the way that you were created to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're at a critical moment in humanity of a return to real creativity, like to true fundamental creativity, which is really aligning with source energy, whatever words you want to use for that, something so big and so powerful. And then we are looking at, one of the things that I tend to bring to these conversations is science, because that I like to know, and we're literally neurologically.
Mermaids, unicorns, and science.
That is like, if you, I'm gonna have that tattooed on my arm. So it's like, like there's this, we are literally programmed to seek, and we have lost, not that something is wrong, but we have disempowered what seeking looks like, and we've given it out there. And so we're externally seeking, we're seeking more success, we're seeking more things, we're seeking more likes, we're seeking more food, we're seeking more whatever, it's out there, right? And when we externalize that seeking, then we're in this kind of dopamine hamster wheel cycle of someone needs to validate me, someone needs to validate me, someone needs to validate me. And what it does is it crushes creativity. It crushes the parts of our brains that are really programmed for creativity. But when we internalize that seeking, when we bring it back and we say, who am I here to be? Why am I here? My life has to be more than just this checklist. Like, I know I have a purpose in here. I know and we believe that purpose is who we are, and then it's why we do something, and then it's what we do, but it doesn't start with what we do. And so it's like, so when we go back internal and we seek that deeper meaning, we open up all of those creative pathways. And it's like, that's where we're really going to shift how humans are showing up. That's real transformation. That's real activism, is like, I'm going to creatively listen to solve this problem. I'm not going to try and figure it out with my head. It's like,
Right.
it's from my heart and my connection. So I get passionate.
No, please don't ever apologize for passion, especially if you're talking to me. Oh my word. I love how you broke down, it's who we are, it's why we do something, and then it's what we do. So I'm assuming in the book, I have not read it yet, but it was on my list. How is there a process for, because that, I feel like that's kind of turns the model upside down. And so how would you suggest people move their way through just that one piece?
Megan.
I will name the structure, and
Awesome.
like a holiday tree, and then Laura can hang the ornaments, because that's
So
part of
cute.
my projector way. So what we saw was necessary to really support people in that shift is there's a component of understanding. We start with type of human design, like, because it's an exposure to a story that might be different than the one that's conditioned. Then we expose the core conditioning stories that we have seen over the years keep people stuck and in self-abandonment. And then we have a whole process of nervous system regulation and working on the energetic, physical, and mental level to help restory and de-story the outdated things. And then throughout we have the science, so that people can have their left hemispheric self go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I get that. Because when we have that buy-in, we have permission. But we saw it had to be internal and external. We had to see ourselves differently inside. We had to see the stories that are affecting us that often are just accepted as truth. Until we see that we have choice over these stories, we're just living them and at the mercy of them. So,
Yep.
and then when you see them and have multiple oh shit moments,
Uh-huh.
that's when the nervous system regulation and applied neuroscience comes in. Is like, okay, great, sit down, we're going to help you like untangle from it and be brave in moving
Right.
differently. So it's our editor said this is a very generous book, you didn't hold anything back, and we said we're trying to change the world. We want people to have, we can't work with everybody directly, so take it, go, like, get empowered and tell your friends. That's part of why our marketing strategy is a little unique, because we are, as you can tell, we have a book club in a box so that people can step into their own leadership and gather their communities, their teams, and work through this in connection. Because I think one of the reasons we don't do these things is we're scared we're going to be alone. We're scared we're not going to belong. We're scared we're going to be such a failure or disappointment that we will lose love. And so when we do this work in community, not only does it amplify the work, but it's inherently healing.
Yeah.
I love your projectorness that saw how it should be and then just made it the way that it should be.
I'm trying, Wendy.
Here's our
I'm
collective
a little speck.
invitation.
It's a
You
little.
are invited to keep it up. I know you need an invitation.
I think that just to add to that, like one of the things that human design really brought us was like the first aha moment about human design was like, whoa, this is a map to who I need to be. Like literally, this is where it's taking us. But once I understand that about me, once I really get me, then I understand that whole concept as like as above, so below, or as without is within, right? And so now I can be like, oh, I'm really the only control I have over everything that's going on anywhere is who I'm being in the moment, right? Like, and so I'm
Right.
learning
My experience of my experience is
right,
the only thing I can control.
my own damn filters are my
That's
own damn
right.
filters, right? Like, so but one of the things that's really beautiful about human design in general is that the next step, and not that they're linear, is that I'm also being in relationship to everything. And so now it's who am I being when I put someone else in the equation, or I put some experience in the equation, or I move someone into my field in some kind of way, and it's teaching me where like because as humans we're literally here to learn through relationship, right? So it's like that's what we're doing here, y'all. That is the purpose of humanity, is to learn to be in relationship, right? So it's like so then there's this deep teaching in human design for that. But as we heal all of that, and as we really use relationship to understand ourselves and then and be our highest self, then we become a gift to the world, right? Like that's where now our purpose emerges, and this is where we can begin to finally do. This is where we can begin to finally step out and serve something bigger, our communities, our clients, whoever it is. And so that's how, I mean, I think when we talk about it's the who we be, and then why we do it, it becomes the why, it becomes the driver. And then the last thing is that do, right? So it's I think that human design is a perfect map to that unfolding. It helps us unfold it. And then we need nervous system regulation, because now I'm talking fast. We need our breath. So there's that. But then we need to like slow everything down and say, and when I'm in relationship, I'm going to get to look at my wounds. I'm going to get to look at my parts. And that we have to learn how to feel safe to do that.
Exactly.
And that is something that's missing across the board in humanity altogether. We're all kind of driving the bus with our emotions and not with our hearts, and that's what we're here. That's what we're here trying to get people to understand, is like emotional regulation is the key to human success. And it starts here.
Right. And we have all of the tools. It's just knowing how to use them. Even it's a breath, right? Just the process of breathing through your nose signals to your body that you're safe. Like, what? Oh, okay. I think I can do that. I think I can.
And valuing and prioritizing them, right? I mean, like, I think we also we have stories around the mental being the priority. We also have stories around shit being hard. Like, we've got some serious personal growth kink in this culture around things having to be complex and laborious and really hard. And
it's called the work.
It's the work,
right?
The work.
And doing the work.
We all have hard things to look at, but if we doom and gloom it and make it like a horror movie, nobody's gonna do it. But if it's an adventure and it's discovery and there's curiosity and there's a different tone, we have more capacity. And that's part of the framework we offer, is the path forward in our book. The Prosper framework is like, here's what to invest your energy in to start building a bridge beyond these stories of the grind that kind of suck.
Right, because it becomes a different, instead of being a dopamine hit addiction, it is this, oh, I'm getting results. I am seeing this at work in my life. I always think of my morning practice with this because I get up at 4:45 every morning. And sometimes when I say that to someone, they're like, oh, okay, well, that's not happening. Like when I used to see someone who was in great shape and I asked them what they did and they said, oh, no carbs and no wine. I was like, oh, okay, next. What did you do? Because I'm not interested in that part. But there's something about, okay, that does feel early until you start seeing the results of this dedicated time and space to my well-being and my personal growth and development. And now it's like, oh, that can't come early enough. I got to get back in there. So I love this beautiful concept and pattern that you've set up, even with the book club in a box. We will definitely be doing that we have a great community. It's called the Say Yes Sisterhood. So in the Say Yes Sisterhood, we will do the book club in a box. I'm so excited because there is this thing of these revelations we have about ourselves, but as you said, seeing it in community not only cements the process and the truth, but it also provides this validation. When you have a discovery, I can say, oh my gosh, I see that in you and for you as well. And you're not supposed to carry that load because that's for these people over here. And it's really, I mean, yeah, we can do a lot of things maybe faster by ourselves, but oh, it goes so much farther when we do it in community.
And it de-shames things. I think being in the personal growth industry for my whole adult life, it's like shame is what keeps us stuck more than
Mhm.
anything, I think. It's like I'm bad because I can't, or I'm bad because I think, or I believe, and when you have people that are yes-anding you instead of that voice inside that's telling you it's inherently bad or wrong, it
Mhm.
just dissolves those tethers that are keeping you stuck. It's amazing. You just have to be brave enough to be honest in
Well,
community.
right. And culturally, I think there is also shaming of this work.
100%.
It's always the frivolous, ditzy person who has her affirmations and, everyone else is making fun of her while they're rolling around in their money and she's got none of it. It's like, no, that's actually not how it works. Just more conditioning to keep us small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I could obviously talk to you all day long. I have
You might be
loved this.
tired if you did.
Oh, I doubt it. I'm not a projector, so no. This is how
Are you,
my tank gets filled, Queen. Like I
Wendy, are you a generator or a manifesting generator?
generator.
Okay. Yeah.
You feel like a generator, but I was just,
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if I were a manifesting generator, does that mean I would have more ideas than I have? That
That's what I was curious which one you were because you feel a little fizzy. And I always experience
I
manifesting
feel
generators as
fizzy
like
too.
they're carbonated.
yeah.
Totally. But I have the staying power to not only have the good ideas, but to carry them and sometimes, be married to them for 22 years, which is probably longer than I should have been. Yeah, I was very generator in that. I don't know, you can't change. So, your human design, you can't change. I know that, but it's fascinating. I know that this will not be the last of our conversations. I'm so excited to be in each other's orbits, but please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can get their hands on the book, and we'll also have in the show notes how they can join the Say Yes Sisterhood when we book club your fabulous piece of art. So tell us where we can find you.
Go ahead, Megan, do it.
All right, efficiency. So they can go to embodiedleadershipbydesign.com and that will guide them to all of the things. So there's a discover your design or explore your design tab where they can get a free resource that's a great start around type. There's an Unstuck Yourself guidebook if they want to go deeper. The link to the book that then has a whole website where you can learn about book club in a box to gather your people, de-shame all of the cultural ridiculousness, and reclaim your purpose. And we have a podcast, The Embodied Leadership Lounge, where we also talk about each type and redefine leadership. And we've got some more that'll probably be coming out there. So all the goodies can be found
Yeah.
at
So fun.
embodiedleadershipbydesign.com.
Oh my gosh, thank you. We will link everything down in the show notes, but thank you so much for your time. I have loved this conversation.
Oh,
We
Wendy, we have
appreciate
to
you.
thank you for having us.
Yeah.